This is the Herdline News.
The Patriots haven't made a decision on whether they will bring back Cam Newton for a second season, but if they do decide to move on, Cam will look for another opportunity and says he has no plans to retire.
My pride won't even allow me to do that. Listen, bro, there's not 32 guys better than me. Put it like that. So you're asking
Where
me,
you at?
like,
Where you at?
I'm not 32.
Well, he is right. Of the 35 qualified quarterbacks this season, the bottom 15, according to Pro Football Focus.
The bottom 15.
Bottom 15. Jared Goff is 21. Cam Newton is 22. Below him is Andy Dalton, Ben Roethlisberger, Gardner Minshew, Nick Foles, Alex Smith, Teddy Bridgewater, Tua, Carson Wentz at 30. Drew Lock, Mitchell Trubisky, Sam Darnold, Nick Mullins, and Dwayne Haskins is at 35. So he's not even close to
By the way,
bottom.
They were 11-0 at one point, and Big Ben's in that group. So when
Big Ben is two slots below him.
below Cam.
Yeah, according to Pro Football Focus.
Well,
season.
I mean, Cam still moves. Cam's still in the RPO stuff, still elite.
I mean,
still
he
don't.
60. He had 65.8 completion percentage,
Cam did?
2,657 yards.
So Cam completed 65% of his throws. I'm actually shocked by that.
Almost 66.
Who did he throw to?
No one. He had 8 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and had 592 rushing yards and 12 rushing touchdowns. So, yes, he can still move.
I am surprised by that. He completed 66% of his throws. I mean, literally, they don't have a functional tight end. That's a good number.
He also talked about how COVID really affected him, missing those games and being out with COVID in the middle of the season.
So did Lamar, yeah.
I think that he will. I actually think that it makes the most sense for the Patriots to bring back Cam Newton now that I think about the situation that the Patriots are in.
Second year.
He may do better in his second year in the system.
Yeah.
Since they have the 15th pick, I actually wouldn't hate if they used it on a quarterback and had the young quarterback come in with Cam Newton there. Cam Newton's not expensive.
By the way, they're not going to pay Cam anything. They have a ton of salary cap. They may move Stephon Gilmore. The reality is, I know they're frugal, but just on the draft opt-ins, Cam's second year, and a little cap space, they went 7-9.
We act like they didn't win a game this season.
It's not impossible to believe that they're. I mean, is it 10-6?
Yeah, I don't think they're a playoff team, and I don't think they'll win the division. But yeah, that's reasonable. I mean, we're not looking at the whole picture when we talk about Cam Newton. Like, there were 8 opt-outs, some very significant this season. He got COVID in the middle of the season, which clearly affected him. They don't have a lot of weapons. They're going to have to make some moves this offseason. And I think when we think of the Patriots, we just think of them as such a stable dynasty franchise, as we should from the past 2 decades. But they're not in that situation anymore. So what do you do? Do you make an aggressive move for a quarterback that's on the market? Like, Sam Darnold's not going to the Patriots. Like, he's the best option we think is available at this point. And I don't think they're going to get Deshaun Watson. I actually think bringing Cam back for another year and second year in the system, you get the 8 opt-ins back, make some moves this offseason, and maybe you do draft the quarterback of the future, and he doesn't have to start right now. You can learn a little bit. So the Bucs have their work cut out for them in free agency if they want to keep their Super Bowl team together. They have 8 notable free agents this year and have made it clear they want to keep as many as possible. Bruce Arians said they're hoping to sign 5 or 6 of these guys in order to keep the closeness and accountability they have in the locker room. We're showing them now: Chris Godwin, Antonio Brown, Rob Gronkowski, Leonard Fournette, Levante David, Shaq Barrett, and Ndamukong Suh, and Ryan Suckup are all free agents.
Okay, so Levante David and Shaq Barrett, I'm just paying whatever I have to. Everybody else is negotiable. I can move off everybody else.
Well, Gronk and Antonio Brown likely aren't going to play anywhere else, so they'll probably take whatever deal. If they want to come back another year, they'll probably take whatever deal the Bucs offer them. There's not going to be a big market for Antonio Brown, even though he did keep it together this season. Most teams are going to assume that that's because of Tom Brady.
Right.
And there's only one Tom Brady. I don't think Gronk wants to play anywhere else. If he does want to keep playing, it's not like he needs the money at all. So if he does want to come back another year, I imagine he's going to be on a reasonable deal as well. I agree. Levante David and Shaq Barrett. I mean, Ndamukong Suh is significant as well. My guess is that Chris Godwin and Leonard Fournette are not there next year.
That makes sense to me. But I'm not giving up Shaq Barrett. There's no way. Pass rushers are gold bars. He's the one. Levante David and Barrett, to me, you could get another linebacker, but Barrett is so effective getting to the quarterback. There's about 8 guys in the league. They were just born to be pass rushers, and he's one of them.
I think that we've learned that Tom Brady can make it work with a lot. But when we talk about that Super Bowl, we're going to give Tom Brady a lot of credit. They won because of that defense.
Yeah,
so if I'm the Buccaneers, I'm concerned. My number one priority is keeping as much of that defense together as possible. I mean, Patrick Mahomes didn't throw a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. Keep that defense intact. Tom Brady can figure things out on the other side of the ball. So the Lakers have lost 3 of their last 4 games since Anthony Davis suffered a calf strain. In their loss to the Heat this weekend, LeBron scored 19 points on 7 of 21 shooting, which is his worst shooting percentage of the season. And they're struggling to get out of this slump. And LeBron says he knows it's on him to step up without AD.
Well, I think that's what it all boils down to. And, right now is another challenge for me to be able to adjust. Not having AD for a long period of time is something that we haven't had over the last year and a half. And now it's time for me to adjust again and see ways I can be even more effective to help this team win ball games. Because that is the sport that we're in. We're in the winning business, and I've always been a winner. So it's time to click into that.
Now, once again, LeBron puts the entire world on his shoulders.
I don't know putting this on LeBron.
No, they're just not shooting well. They're just not. It's not remember last year, our big concern was they don't have enough shooters, and they kind of won the finals on health and defense.
They were 1 of 13 from three-point range in the fourth quarter. At 13 of 45 attempts.
But Schroeder didn't play either, so that...
Yeah, I actually think that we're not giving enough credit to Schroeder in this situation. Like, obviously, Anthony Davis is significant, and he's a superstar. You want him out there. But Schroeder missed the last 2 games due to COVID protocol. He'll miss the next 2. So it's not that he's unhealthy, but he's out for COVID protocol. But he's averaging 14.2 points, 3.6 rebounds, and 4.3 assists per game as well. So... missing Schroeder and Anthony Davis is significant. You got to shoot better, obviously, but this can't all be on LeBron James. Like, if LeBron James isn't shooting well, I'm going to give him a pass in this situation because he's having to do everything with Anthony Davis and Schroeder being out. But I don't think that home court advantage matters that much in the playoffs, so I think it's a priority for the Lakers to get Anthony Davis 100% healthy. And I got to be honest, I don't know if anyone's really surprised that this is what they're dealing with Anthony Davis in this situation. Like, the bubble wasn't that long ago. Every team that went deep in the bubble is struggling with injuries this season. It's not terribly surprising that Anthony Davis would not be completely healthy at this point.
If I wanted to go to a Laker game right now, I wouldn't be allowed in, would I?
You may be able to, but I wouldn't tell anyone that you're there. No, you got there's
no fans.
We're in California. Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. What if I went with a notebook and I said I was working?
Oh, you were
working
media.
media.
Go as a working reporter?
I'd bring a pen. Like if I said I was a working reporter.
I think you'd have to get credentialed and go through the protocols. But I don't know how many people they're actually allowing in there to cover the game as well. But yeah. No,
so America's media honesty broker could not go to a Laker game.
I don't feel like I have the authority to answer that question completely, but based off of the information that I currently have, my guess would be no.
Our legislators need to lighten up. A little. I'm America's honesty broker. If I'm not covering the Lakers, who's giving you the scoop?
You are not. You've never covered the Lakers. You've gone to a Lakers game with a notepad and gone into at any point in your career.
I don't need a notepad. It's called space. My parking garage above my eyebrows.
Have you ever been in have you had to go into an NBA locker room and ask questions before?
Oh, no. Last time I was in a Lakers locker room, one of the players told me he hated me.
Are you going to tell us who?
Dwight Howard. And he said it smiling. I said, put on a towel and you don't hate me. The late Kobe was always great to me. Actually, everybody's been great.
Were you in the locker room? You were reporting? You were legitimately asking questions and you were hanging out?
Yeah, I had to pretend. I don't, listen, I get I would say I go into locker rooms infrequently now, but I do communicate with guys through their agents or through them or...
I don't think you actually need to be in the locker room.
The locker rooms are awful.
I've never wanted to be...
they're just awful.
That type of reporter.
By the way, these days in shoot-around, if I go... What I always do, I always go early to games. So I'll get there an hour and a half early, and when they come out, like a player would come over and say, hey, what are you doing?
Yeah, but Colin, you're misrepresenting your presence at this game. You're like sitting courtside or in great seats, hanging out early. You're not like going to shoot around like a beat reporter. You don't have your credential on. You're there as a citizen.
You know what my credential is? My face. So obnoxious. I am so obnoxious. All right. Oh, I just miss going. I want to go to the. I would like to go to a game.
No, I hear you. I really want to. I want to go to a Dodgers game too. Dodgers game's the best.
God, you know that stadium. They do the food and drink right too.
So romantic.
God,
I miss the garlic fries and not being able to talk to anybody for a week after eating them.
Oh, they figured the food stuff out. That place has good food. You could eat dinner at that baseball stadium.
Yeah.
Justin Turner's around the corner. We've all become a bit